Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Your video is about to start on all things Social Security. Just a quick reminder, we are here every day, 9 a.m. with some sort of tip or tidbit for you. And we are here generally on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for live stream, live Q&As on everything Social Security. So feel free to pop in a timely fashion, and I will answer your questions there too. Have a great one. Bye-bye. Happy Sunday. We had a snowy one here this week. I don't know where you all are at, but here in Northeast Pennsylvania, we only got a few inches and it's been melting pretty much all day. But half hour northwest of here, they've got, I think, like 6 or 8 inches or something like that. But it is April, so mid-April, so that won't be lasting long. Okay, let's just do the Social Security weekly roundup. This is from the 7th until the 12th of April. Spring is coming. Okay, so on Monday the 7th, we had, oh yeah, this is a Q&A, probably from one of the recent live sessions that take place generally on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Although this week, because I have to be traveling, I'm going to have to put it off, and I'm aiming for Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. If anyone's interested in joining and asking any questions, or just listening to other people's questions and answers. Okay, so on Monday, this particular Q&A clip was about responding to someone who had asked about the percentage of denied claims on initial that get overturned on reconsideration. So we just discussed that a little bit and my recollection of what typically goes on with that. On Tuesday, this was, oh yeah, an announcement that the budget for Medicare, particularly Advantage plans, reimbursements and such, was being increased by the administration in a new effort to, I guess, bolster that a little bit. Some people have Advantage plans, some people have just straight Medicare, the traditional, original, and some people have the traditional, original Medicare, plus they buy a supplement plan, which is different from an Advantage plan. But I would say, I don't know if it's the majority, but there's a lot of people that need and use Advantage plans because they tend to be cheaper. You get what you pay for, of course. But anyway, so they're trying to bolster that just to help the Medicare world out a little bit. And that was on Tuesday. On Wednesday, this would be April 9th. This was a couple of examples where the SSA sometimes has your date last insured incorrect and why that would matter to you and what you can do about it. We had two examples for that. And one of them was recently, in fact, it's on the hearing I have this coming week. We did get it straightened out though, because the DLI should have been a whole year later than they were saying. So we got that fixed. And it makes a huge difference because at a hearing today, next week, if her DLI is in the past, that's a whole different scenario of what the judge can look at. Meaning nothing after that DLI would even count. And there's been some pretty hefty stuff this year so far. Okay, the next day, April 10th, there's another tip. This was about question 11 on the paper application. That would be the SSA-16. And yeah, we went through that. So if anyone's working on their application and they're doing it, sometimes people do it on paper entirely instead of doing it online. Other times they do it on paper so they have their answers, which are largely the same questions as what's going to be on the online application. So they kind of have everything organized for themselves. So that was Thursday. Then on Friday the 11th, this was Friday Fraud Law Review, of course. And this was about a Nigerian scamster who stole $8 million, including Social Security benefits. Lovely. We have a lot of foreign fraud, I suppose. And then we had Saturday, the 12th. And this was a tip with regard to ALJ hearings. And I know a lot of people get concerned about getting rushed by an ALJ through their hearing. And they are trying to move things along, but we go through the whys and what likely will happen and, you know, Some people will feel rushed. Other people might be dying for it to be over. So I suppose it depends. But we go through the little bit of the ins and outs on that one. And that is it. What do we have this week? Hmm. Like I said, I will be traveling, so I'm not going to be able to go live on Wednesday at 1 p.m. So I'm going to aim for Friday. I should be in Michigan City, Indiana, and I'm hoping to be able to do a 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which if I'm trying to think, is that an hour different from my time here? So then I would be really doing it 12 Central, if it is Central. I don't even know. Um, but anyway, I'll catch you then. If you're around, that would be Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then whatever it is for everybody else around the country. Okay. Hope you all had a great week. Hope you had a great weekend. And I hope you have a better week coming up. Have a good one, guys. Stay safe. It's still Sunday. Did you miss last week's Social Security roundup? Not this week that you just heard, but the one prior to that, and want to catch up? I'm attaching it now. Have a great day. Bye. Good morning. Happy Sunday. It is Sunday Social Security roundup. Real fast here. This is for the week of March 31st. That was last Monday to Saturday, which I believe was the 5th. Okay. So what did we go over? On Monday, we talked a little bit about some newer SSA news right from the horse's mouth. And this was they're kind of clearing up some nasty rumors that field offices were closing when in fact not a single one has been slated for closing. So we go into that a little bit along with the link because I like to link whatever I am taking my information from when I can, so you can vet the source yourself. April 1st, da-da-da-da, this was a question from someone on our live Q&A, which is on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you care to join. And this particular one was about a 61-year-old. And what happens when you have tons of physical impairments, but you're still denied? Why might that be? And there is stuff you can do about it. So don't always think that because you got a denial, particularly if you didn't have maybe representation kind of helping to strategize the evidence, why that might happen and how that can be fixed. April 2nd, that must be Wednesday. It was additional news from the Social Security Administration where they were discussing as they pivot in all of this upheaval, if you will, how in-person identification is not needed for certain cases. So for instance, disability cases like SSD and SSI and Medicare applicants do not have to worry about in-person identification if they are unable to, access their online account. April 3rd, responding to the question about should you spend down your resources for SSI when you have SSD going on, or maybe a concurrent claim. Go over that a little bit when you won't want to be spending down your SSI, your resources to try to catch some SSI, because you might not be catching any SSI anyway, and you just blew whatever savings you had. Okay, April 4th, of course, it was Friday, the fraud law review, and this was about a Massachusetts SSA worker who used his position to become basically, as I said, a pimp. And he was luring beneficiary into prostitution. Incredible. Can't make this stuff up. They may as well just make a movie out of it. All right. And then Saturday, April 5th, the Office of Inspector General of the SSA put out a report covering a 2-year span from 21 to 23, in which case 50% of all manager-to-manager requests for assistance failed, 57%. And those manager-to-manager requests tend to be when one office needs a little more clarity on an issue that they might not be very well vetted on. And so they seek it from another, I guess, manager who they're hoping has more knowledge in the area for a claimant or a beneficiary. And turns out 50% of the time they weren't getting what they were supposed to get. So I hope that's something that gets fixed. All right, so that's it, guys. The 31st of March to the 5th of April. That's what we went over last week. I hope you had a great week. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I hope you enjoy the rest of it. And I hope you have a great week coming up. I will be here Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live for the live stream Q&A. And as always, we tend to have a video share at 9 o'clock in the morning on all the other weekdays. And it turns out we are putting it out Wednesdays at 9 a.m. also, the video share. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought it was going to be kind of skipped that day, but it's not happening. So anyway, I hope to see you guys soon live. If not, see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Bye-bye now.